everyone. Welcome to the first day of autumn. I spent today driving down to Tennessee. My husband and I came down to Tennessee earlier in the summer and we did some day hikes. So I came down here this time to backpack across the Smokies on the Appalachian Trail. It should take me about 7 days. I have arrived at the Fontana shelter. I left my car over on the Davenport Gap end, and Tina, the Smoky Mountain Angel, picked me up and drove me over here to Fontana. So this is where I'm going to stay tonight at the Fontana Hilton. I'll show you. It's a nice shelter. It's got, I guess that's where I'll be. It's got 2 levels on each side. It's right on the lake. This is a beautiful view. A little picnic area out here, so it's a little after lunchtime right now, so I'm going to sit and have some lunch and then get rid of all the trash from that. Power charger, solar powered charger for your phone and electronics. Water bottle filler. But what seems to be missing? There's no bear box or bear pole to hang your food. This is the restroom at the Fontana Hilton, and it has a shower with hot water. Good morning. I'm leaving the Fontana Hilton. The sky is just getting light. I just turned my headlamp off. And I'm getting ready to walk across Fontana Dam. And heading up there. Sunrise at Fontana Dam. And here we go, into the Smokies. And I'm heading toward Molly's Ridge Shelter today, which is going to be uphill with a full 35-pound pack carrying 7 or 8 days worth of food. So I've gone almost 3 miles since I left the shelter this morning. I am the first one on this section of trail this morning. No one's passed me going either direction, which basically means I keep hitting all the cobwebs. So that's fun. You're a big boy, aren't you? Look at you. They're calling these open ledges. The AT continues that way. This is the trail to the Shuckstack Fire Tower. It's a side trail. I will not be climbing a Shuckstack Fire Tower. Those of you who know me know that I have a fear of heights, especially exposed heights, just like you get in a fire tower. Add to that Shuckstack is known for being a bit of a sketchy fire tower. So I think even if I was comfortable with fire towers, I might not like this one. I just passed a southbound hiker. You know what that means. No more cobwebs. Yay! All right, so there is rain in the forecast for today and potential thunderstorms. The sky is really black. And the rain is starting. So I stopped to put my pack cover on and finish my lunch. I'll sit here for a minute and see what it does. If it gets worse, I'll put my rain gear on too. I decided to go with umbrella because rain gear and uphill sounds awfully hot and miserable. All these plants that are encroaching on the trail are now all wet. Yep, that's the trail. I got a little bit of water here. Used the leaf trick to get as much as I could from there. All right, so I made it to Molly's Ridge Shelter. I am really tired. The first part of the day was uphill. My body wasn't ready for uphill, so it took me a while to kick my muscles into gear. Second part of the day, it rained on me, and the trail got really overgrown, and it was like bushwhacking, and the plants were trying to trip me, and it just got more and more difficult. So by the time I got here 12 miles later, I was exhausted. So this is my first time using a bear cable. I've always done either a bear hang or a bear box or one of those bear hook tower things. I've never done this. Good morning. I'm leaving the shelter. It poured last night, thunderstorms, and rained, through most of the night. Everything's soaked this morning as far as the trail, and it's all muddy. I've got another 12 miles to do today. I did 12 yesterday. So I'm heading for Derrick Knob Shelter today. It's all very foggy up here at the moment, but they said the trail wasn't that bad as far as being overgrown in this direction. A couple of sections, but not the whole 12 miles, so that's good. It's still pretty gross out this morning. The biggest issue is with all the heavy rain we had overnight, and even this morning when I was packing up and getting ready, there was a big downpour. So all that water is up in the canopy still, and every time there's a little breeze, it all dumps on me. Kind of reminds me of, at the end of a ball game, when the players all dump the Gatorade bucket on the coach. I have my rain pants on. I did have my rain jacket on, but it just got too hot climbing up the hill, so I took that off. But I put my hat on because all the water from the leaves was dumping on my head. This is the Russell Field Shelter. I'm just gonna stop here for a minute and have the rest of my breakfast. There's a lot of rhododendron in this area, and I love when they meet overhead and create these rhododendron tunnels. All right, I'm gonna take a little break here. The trail behind me is the trail down to Spencefield Shelter. It's about 2/10 of a mile, but it's not raining. It's still overcast, but it's not raining on me. So I'm just gonna sit here and have my lunch here. Lunch today is mushroom jerky and dried apricots. And I'm about halfway through my miles for today. I reached Rocky Top. The trail up here was really steep, and I have one more steep trail up to Thunderhead. Do you suppose this is why they call it Rocky Top? Use our diddly squat, because I'm still in the middle of that cloud. All right, this is the top of Thunderhead Mountain. It's my highest point for today, but there are zero views even if this was a not cloudy day. That must be the trail to the spring, but I'm okay, I have water. I just got to the bottom of the hill that comes down from Thunderhead. I was kind of long, steep, a little technical in some places. If I was going up that hill, I'd be complaining in my own head. I took it slow. Last backpacking trip, I aggravated my knee trying to go downhill too fast. So I made sure I wasn't going to do that this time. All right. 1 more mile to the shelter. Uphill. Let's hope that this mile is kinder to me than a lot of the miles that I've had this afternoon that were very steep up, steep down, technical, and very tiring. I made it. Derek Knob Shelter. Good morning. It's the beginning of day 3. Just leaving Derek Knob Shelter. And it's a little later. It's around 9 o'clock because I have a shorter day today. There's a shelter 21 miles from here, which is one of the ones I'm going to stay at. But between here and there, they don't have one at like 10 and a half. So I have the option to do 7 and a half today and 13 and a half tomorrow, or like vice versa. I picked the 7 and a half today because I figured I might be a little tired after 2 12-mile days. But they were 2 12-mile hard days. And also the one at 13 miles today is a half-mile off trail. So I picked the one that was right on trail. At this time of year, these seed pod things are falling from the trees. That and acorns and all other kinds of seed pods and sticks. But when you're in the shelter, they hit the metal roof like a bang, really loud. This is the Siler's Bald Shelter. I'm gonna stop here and have lunch. Oops. That's what I just came up. I've never seen these before. This is what most of the shelters look like. There's little food preparation areas on the side and out in front here. A lot of them have some sort of fire ring. This one has a privy down that trail, which it's the first one I've been to with a privy. And then inside there's generally 2 layers. So you could either sleep on the bottom or the top. Last 2 nights I slept on the bottom. Tonight I'm going to be up here. And you have plenty of places to hang your gear from. This is the trail down to the water source. It's like it's a steep down the hill, but the water source is right here, flowing nicely out of this pipe. So, fill up. Good morning. I know you probably can't see me very well. I just left the shelter. It's a little after 6 o'clock. I'm going to be hiking for a little while in the dark by the light of my headlamp. I'm heading up to Clingman's Dome. It's about 2.8 miles from here. All right, so I've gone more than a mile, but not quite a mile and a half yet. The sky is getting light enough that I was able to turn the headlamp off. I've got about a mile and a half left to the top of Clingman's Dome, which is now called Kuohi. So hopefully I'll get a nice view from up there. I keep hiking in and out of these stands of evergreen trees, and it smells like Christmas. Alright, so it looks like the bypass trail goes that way. It's a bad weather bypass if it's stormy. And the Appalachian Trail, including the tower, goes up into there. So I gotta follow that. First fall of the trip, probably about 2/10 from the top of Clingman's Dome. I just tripped on a root and went over and kind of fell sideways, hit my cheek on another root on the ground. That might leave a nice bruise. Other than that, I seem okay. I just haven't gotten up yet. I made it. Highest point on the AT. This whole stretch is covered with moss and ferns. So pretty. I just heard thunder. And I'm seeing a whole lot less blue sky, a whole lot more overcast. I would prefer not to get rained on today. Let's see what happens. The trail going up and down from Clingman's Dome, very pretty. Kind of steep when you get near the top, both going up and down, but lush and green, vibrant green. I made it to the bottom, and I'm climbing the next hill, Mount Collins, I think. But all those beautiful sun rays are gone, and it is now raining on me. I don't want to pull out the rain jacket because I'm going uphill again. But maybe I'll grab my umbrella. That's a little better. I made it to the top of Mount Collins. I've still got more than 8 miles to the shelter tonight, so I got a long ways to go. Holy cow. That was one of the loudest thunders I've ever heard. And it was like right on top of me. The trail is a mess. All water. Yep, that's the trail. It's just been dumping rain on me ever since I got to the bottom of the Clingman's Dome Hill. On the good side, though, I decided not to put on my dry socks this morning, and I'm really glad about that decision. I think most of the thunderstorm has passed, so... Alright, I am leaving Newfound Gap and heading up to the Ice Water Spring Shelter. I'm smelling lots of clean, soaped, perfumed day hikers. There were a lot of them down in the parking lot. The climb at the end of the day, it's always a killer. That's a view from Ice Water Spring Shelter. And there's the shelter. 15 minutes ago, the sky was blue. Now we're in a whiteout. Good morning. It's the morning of day 5. I'm leaving Ice Water Shelter. It was colder there than the other ones. And it didn't rain last night. At least I don't think so. If it did, I slept through it. But there was a lot of condensation this morning. Everything is still wet from yesterday. I mean, my sleep system, thank God, is still dry, but, you know, my hiking clothes from yesterday are still wet. Planning about 12 miles today, and we'll see how it goes. There's the sunrise. The trail is pretty with sunrise hitting it. I just climbed up on the bunion. It's nice up here. Let me give you the view around. The trail for today seems to just keep going up and down and up and down along this ridge. In the navigation app, there's not a whole lot of waypoints or features listed. What there do seem to be a lot of listed are viewpoints. I'm guessing those viewpoints are not going to be very good today, because ever since I left Charlie's Bunion, I've been in this cloud bank. Looks like there's nothing but mountains for miles and miles and miles and miles. This might be a nice place to have lunch. I'm gonna sit right up here, have my lunch, and enjoy the view while it lasts. Sun! A moment of sunshine. Oh, it's been so long since I felt the sun. I gotta get going. I can't dawdle here forever. I've still got 7.2 miles left to get to the shelter tonight, and it's already lunchtime. I'm about half a mile from the shelter. It's around 4:30 now, so that's good. I'll get there with plenty of daylight to do all my chores. I like getting to camp before dark. I would rather, A, do all the camp chores while it's still light, and B, if I'm gonna hike in the dark, I'd rather do it in the morning than in the evening. So I did 12 and a half miles today, and my legs are starting to feel stronger. I feel much better today than I did those first two 12-mile days. I dragged myself into camp on those 2 days, Right now, I'm feeling okay. Not that I'd want to do a whole lot more miles, but my legs are starting to feel stronger. That's the spring right here in front of the shelter. Good morning, everyone. So this is the first sunny morning we've had. It's been rainy and overcast and miserable. The sun is actually out this morning. I'm also getting a little bit of a later start because I only have about 8 miles to do today, based on where the shelters are placed. Open clearing here used to be a helipad. I suppose it still could be in an emergency. All right, made it to the shelter. Looks basically like all the other shelters in the Smokies, the same, 2-level situation. But, it's got the bear hang cables and the water source and the privy. So it was a shorter day today, only about 8 miles. Tomorrow I've got about an 11-mile day, 11.5-mile day, mostly downhill. Our water source is in this cute little grotto. Really close to the shelter. Good morning. Heading out in the dark again today. It's going to be a mostly downhill day, except for a couple miles uphill to Mount Camerer. But basically the goal for today is to get down to Davenport Gap. And once the sun comes up, I'll check in again. The sky is getting lighter. Still need the headlamp to hike with, though, so I can see the trail. So this is Low Gap. The trail goes that way. Looks like we might starting to see some color in the sky there. This is the beginning of a 2-mile climb uphill to Mount Camerer. All right, we're at the top. Just kidding. I've gone about, a few tenths, but I need to layer down. I'm getting warm climbing. Hi, everyone. This is Pete.
Hi, everyone.
Pete is also section hiking the AT. He's doing the Smokies plus some. His plan was to go all the way to Damascus on this trip. But as it turned out, our pace is very similar. And we've been staying at the same shelters each night because you have to stay at the shelters. So based on the distances where they put them, we've ended up in the same shelters every night. Although we didn't even really know that until day 3, because he would come in after dark and I would leave before daybreak. So it wasn't until talking on day 3 we realized that we were keeping the same pace. But today we're actually hiking together because it's our last day down and out. So we ended up leaving at the same time. So we're going to hike down to Davenport Gap together. Huffing and puffing up the hill. Power to the quads. This side of the park, since Newfound Gap, has been a lot of ridge walking where you could see out on one side and also see out on the other side. We reached the top of the hill.
Finally, as I was saying at the end of the last video, she's a tough lady. We admire her. I have a very difficult time keeping up with her on the uphills.
And it's funny because I don't see myself that way. When I look at myself, in my view, I'm held together with duct tape and baling twine. I've got, 2 ankle braces, one on each ankle. I've got a knee brace on my knee. And I compare myself to these 20-somethings that are powering past me up the hills and doing 26 miles a day.
Yeah.
And that's what I see around me. So it's interesting to see through somebody else's eyes.
Hard charger.
That little clearing back there, that was a dirty little trick.
Yeah.
I could see it, and it looked like the top of the hill, and I got up to it, and I went, yay! And then I turned left, and the trail is still going up. Oh. The AT goes this way to the right. This is the Mount Camerer Trail, and it's about 0.6 off trail, and then we have to return the same way. So it's a 0.2 detour to our day. So at the end of this trail is the Mount Camerer Fire Tower, which is not a typical fire tower where you have to climb the stairs. It's up on some rocks. So it's supposed to have some great views. So we're deciding, do we take the extra 1.2 to go out to the tower? We could get there and there might not be any views at all. It might be completely socked in. We'd still get to see the tower, and it's a historic landmark of an old tower. Also, last time I looked at the weather, it's supposed to rain later this afternoon, like maybe 4 o'clock or so. Do we skip it to try to get down before the rain comes? What would you do? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go see the tower. I'm not going to count on the rain. The rain could come early. The rain could come late. Either way, it wouldn't make a difference. And, if all that happens is I get to see a historic old fire tower with no views and I get caught in the rain later, when am I ever going to be back this way? This is my one and only chance to see it. So I'm going for it.
Wise woman.
How about you? You going for it?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. The sunshine is promising. So this is a rock outcropping. I could sit right here. This is worth it, right at this rock.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, so to get up there, you have to scramble up these rocks over like that. This is why they call me Scrambles. I made it. I made it up to the top. All right, so that's the way I scrambled up. Up here. Wow. Look at the way the clouds are moving in. This has pretty much happened every time I've come up someplace. I've got a great view, and within a few minutes, the clouds rolled in. You better get up here. The clouds are starting to roll in.
Coming. Oh.
So as you can see, the majority of the windows are missing. Ooh. And the floor's a little not perfect. Word on the street is that they're going to be renovating this, putting in new windows and fixing the floor, and I guess repainting it to try to bring it back to its original status. But we all know that the National Park Service is stretched a bit thin, so it might take a while. This is what's happened in a matter of about 5 minutes of being up here. The clouds are rolling right in. All right, we made it back. Definitely worth it. Although the clouds did roll in afterwards, it's completely overcast right now. So we timed it perfectly.
Indeed.
So we've got about 4 more miles down to the Davenport Gap shelter and about 7.5 more miles to where I left my car. So going for the car. I do have a reservation at the shelter for tonight just in case, but I'm heading for the car. All right, so you might remember when I started this trip, I had a climb up into the Smokies from Fontana Dam. And so now as I'm finishing up the trip and coming out of the Smokies, I have to climb back down again. And you might think that going downhill is easier. It turns out that it's not. In order to go uphill, I can make my quad muscles stronger. I can build my cardio fitness so that my heart's nice and strong and can get me up the hill. Going downhill, though, puts a strain on your knees. And I haven't yet figured out how to turn back the hands of time on knees yet. But I am going slow, and especially because on this hill there's a lot of those big steps that you have to step down. You sort of lose elevation all in one big step, and that's particularly hard on the knees. So I'm not going to rush. I'm just going to take my time, which might mean I get caught in the rain, but I'd rather be wet than blow my knees out. Davenport Gap shelter. It's the last shelter before exiting the Smokies. I'm going to stop here and have some lunch. It's supposed to be smaller than the rest, and it is also the only one that still has a cage on the front, a fence to keep the bears out. Apparently at one point they all did, or a lot of them did. This is the only one that still does. Well, here comes that rain. But we're under a roof eating. And we can sit here and put our rain gear on. Hiking in the rain again. Got my rain jacket on, my umbrella. This has definitely not been a dry, sunny trip. All right, so we are officially at the other end of the Smokies. Congrats! Yay! All right, well, we made it through the Smokies.
We did.
Honestly, it was a walk in the park. Smoky Mountain National Park. Definitely a walk in the park. Didn't make it easy on us. Did not provide us with good weather.
Not good weather and some really rough terrain.
Yeah. But we did it. We persisted. All right, we still have about 3 miles left to get to where I left the car and with the hostel where he's going to stay tonight. We're officially out of the woods. Now we just have to cross the road, the Pigeon River Bridge, go under the interstate, I-40, and then up to Standing Bear Hostel where I left my car. Journey ends here. We're at Standing Bear Hostel. Pete's gonna stay here and then keep hiking north to Damascus.
Hopefully
And
we'll get there. Carol thinks I might get there.
I think you will.
Starting to doubt it.
Give it the old college try.
I will do that.
And I'm gonna get in my car and head home.